New thing here. Good evening. I'd like to call the August 11th City Council meeting to order. And can we stand for the, roll call, please? Been a while.
Councilmember Riddell Harris.
Here.
Davis.
Here.
Holmes. Mayor Amara.
Present.
And for the record, Councilmember Dowden Calvillo will be absent this evening.
Thank you very much. Can we stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please? I pledge.
Getting a little rowdy over there in the audience.
Okay, so we have the adoption of the agenda. Oh, we have actually commendations, proclamations, and acknowledgements. We do not have any tonight, so we will move to adoption of the agenda. This is a time set aside for council members and/or the public to ask for removal, postponement, or a change to the listed sequence of an agenda item. The agenda will be approved by consensus of the council. Anyone on council want to change any part of the agenda? Anyone in the public? May I have a motion, please?
I'll move to approve the agenda.
I'll second it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So consent agenda, all matters listed under the consent calendar are considered to be routine in nature and will be approved by one blanket motion with a roll call vote. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless persons request specific items to be removed from the consent calendar for discussion and separate action. Any items removed will be considered after the motion to approve the consent calendar. Do I have anyone on the council that would like any of the items on the consent calendar removed? Councilman Holmes. Item 1. Anyone else?
8.
Item 8. Anyone else? Anyone from the public? Okay, do I have a motion for the consent calendar?
I'll move to approve the consent calendar without items number 1 and 8.
I'll second that.
Roll call. Councilmember Riddell Harris.
Aye.
Davis.
Aye.
Holmes.
Aye.
Mayor Amara.
Yes, thank you very much. That passes, and we will move to item number 1, the Youth Advisory Commission membership appointments. Councilman Holmes.
Yes, I went through this and I was a little bit mystified, I guess, as to there are 3 people being added to the Youth Advisory Commission, but only 1 is a student.
So I can answer that if you're good with that. So most of the members for the Youth Commission this year, we added at the previous council meeting, but we had an issue where the application didn't go through for one of the youths, so we kept it open. That said that they had applied before, so we kept it open so that that person could reapply because it had missed the window and they'd said that they'd applied early. So to fix that error, we kept it open a little longer. And then we were still missing 2 of our adult members because I need help. I can't manage that many teenagers on my own. So Sarah and Jamie needed to submit their applications to make sure that we rounded out. We have someone from ARD, and then we also have Sarah, who's from the school district, and Jamie Ross, who also is an adult that helps with.
And how many youth do we have? Do you recall?
You remember?
Quite a few, quite a few.
Tonight's youth appointment makes 14 youth on the commission and 3 adults.
14 youth and 3 adults.
Plus me. All
Or-
adults altogether.
You can.
I guess I count
One
as
more
an adult.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Good question. Do I have a motion then?
Before we
Well,
go, I just wanted to say thank you to everyone who's going to be on the council, especially to the adults who help me to manage those meetings. They are full of energy and it is lots of fun, but I also need help. So thank you.
So I'll move by resolution to appoint 3 additional members to the Youth Advisory Commission for the 2025, 2026 school year.
I'll second that.
Roll call. Councilmember Adele Harris.
Yes.
Davis.
Yes.
Holmes.
Aye.
Mayor Amara.
Yes, thank you very much. We move on to item number 8, SB 1, the Road Repair and Accountability Act for 25-26. Councilwoman Davis?
I think it's a quick question, Minjel. Thank you for coming up. I just wanted to ask, I reviewed the roads listed to be repaired and wanted to ask if the bike route roads could be painted as needed for bike lanes.
That we're considering?
Hill and Shockley.
Yes, we're considering those two roads and we will have that included to be striped for bike lanes.
Great. I think that's a great idea, and I think that it's a why reinvent the wheel? If we're doing it, we don't want to have to redo it again. So
And please keep in mind that we are going to take that into consideration because I think that's going to be part of the master plan, the greater plan that's going to be recommended. So we're not just doing it. It's going to come out of that plan, and knowing that that's coming, that's why this recommendation just makes sense.
yeah,
Just from my perspective also, anytime we're doing any kind of an overlay, as long as it can accommodate a bike lane, marked bike lane, then we'll be putting those marked bike lanes in. So
Right.
as long as the road is wide enough to make it work, even if we're shifting lanes, we'll be doing that to start getting ahead of, frankly, catching up on the bike lanes that we haven't been putting in when we should have.
personally, I think that's great. I think that's thinking ahead, very forward vision, and I really appreciate it for items.
So, but I guess my question and concern is really, we're doing it where it has cohesiveness and makes sense. We're not, if we're paving 2 blocks, we're
Right.
not going to be putting a bike lane for 2 blocks and ending it on either side and creating more confusion.
No,
And
absolutely.
So we've been, where it makes sense, we've been shifting over lanes and making it ready for a bike lane whenever we have the rest of that street ready, but we're thinking it all the way through to the end, right?
Absolutely. So the plan is to make sure that anything we do is going to be cohesive, and we're not necessarily even going to be striping neighborhood streets. That just doesn't make sense. It's going to be the more arterial roads that lead to the trails and things like that. And we're certainly going to take in consideration the plan's recommendation before we take any action.
But I think the point is that we are going to take that into consideration rather than just pave it and then think about it later. So thank you for
Absolutely.
that. I
Yes.
appreciate that. And do you have any? Do we have a motion?
Move to approve by resolution, approve the list of projects to be funded by SB 1, the Road Repair and Accountability Act into the fiscal year 2025-2026 gas tax fund budget.
I'll second that.
Councilmember Adele Harris.
Aye.
Davis.
Aye.
Holmes.
Aye.
Mayor Amara.
Yes, thank you very much. And we'll move on to public comment. This is a time provided so the public may speak to the council on any item not on this agenda. Please make your comments as brief as possible, not to exceed 3 minutes. The council cannot act on items not included on this agenda. Items may be referred to staff or placed on a future agenda. Do I have any public comment from the council? Yes.
One quick thank you to police for National Night Out last week. It was super fun. Kids had a blast. Thank you to the dunk tank folks. My kids really enjoyed that. So that was great. All the swag given out was great. So thanks for that. And then Friday, maybe Kale, you'll touch on this food truck fiesta. On Friday, the city will defend its championship title as kickball champions. So see you there.
And I want to give a big thank you to the city too, and National Night Out, and everyone that participated in the dunk tank. It's taking your life in your hands. Very good job. And then also I want to welcome Rabbi Mendel. He's the local rabbi here, and I think he's going to give an introduction at public comment. So welcome to the city council meeting. Appreciate that. Anybody from the public I'm sorry, did you have one?
I just wanted to say that the first day of school for high school was last Friday, and then the first day for our local school district is on Wednesday. So there'll be lots of kids around and lots of parents driving to school and whatnot. So just to keep that in mind and keep your patients with you while you're dealing with any traffic issues as it progresses. Thank you.
Thank you. Did you have a public comment?
Yes.
I didn't look that way. You're so far away. Go ahead,
Okay,
you're on.
well, anyway, I've mentioned this before, but it doesn't seem to be getting better, and that is drivers uh, do not seem to be able to signal if they're going to make a turn or a lane change in the city of Auburn. And I'd like to encourage people, since it's relatively simple to make a, to put your signal on to make a change that's going to make a turn. And I think it's a public safety thing that we need to emphasize more clearly.
Thank you. Anyone in the public have any public comment?
Hello, my name is Sarah Liebert. I'm talking on behalf of Kids Palooza. We have our kickball match this weekend on Friday night at the Food Truck Fiesta. We are super excited to host the second annual. So I know the city has been working hard. So has the chamber. We're going to do our warm up at 5:30 and then the game's going to be at 6. So we're excited.
Do you remember what
Thank
color
you.
we are?
It was gold and green, and I want to say
I'll have to figure it. We need to make sure we're wearing the right colors. So
yes.
we'll check. I don't know if I have any gold outfits.
Okay, any other public comment? Yes.
Next time we'll consult on color.
Hi, so thank you, Sandy, for introducing me and mentioning my name, Rabbi Mendel Weinbaum, and my wife's name is Hannah. We're starting a Jewish community over here. There actually is a Jewish community over here, just they haven't said hello to each other. So we're just introducing one to another, and thank God it's been an amazing, amazing start. And I wanted to express my gratitude and appreciation to this incredible city. The support we've received from the city council and across the board. It affects the town, the city. The people here are so warm and inviting, and it says a lot about Auburn. So I just wanted to come here to say thank you and to also share that we're starting a Jewish community over here, and we're here obviously to be a beacon of light, inspiration, and we're looking forward to sharing that with everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. Happy to have you here. Anyone, any other public comment? Okay, thank you. Moving on. Council business. The Auburn Rec and Park District Annual Impact Mitigation Report. Kale?
Okay, I've got a presentation I think I put in your packets, which kind of spoils the surprise, but just work with me on it. Anyways, this is our the annual report we're to give per our MOU that details out how we've spent mitigation money in the past year and how we're proposing to spend it coming forward. And so then we're going to give this a try. And I know there's a delay. There it is. Okay. So per the MOU, as I said, we're supposed to give a report about the park impact mitigation fees. And currently in the ARD's City Trust Fund, there's $187,465. And just a quick reminder, ARD's fiscal year is April 1 through March 31. We have a different odd fiscal year compared to everybody else. And am I doing questions now or at the end, or how do you want to do this?
No, either way,
All right.
whatever you
You
feel
guys have a
comfortable.
question or something, just stop me.
Okay.
Okay, so the projects that we did just last year were just the one. I think most of you are aware of this project. That was the pickleball courts. And it's actually multi-use courts, but they're mainly being used for pickleball right now, right outside the door here. Great success. I know they're getting tons of use. I'm already hearing about people waiting, of course, because it's pickleball. And it was about $224,000, and we used $70,000 in mitigation fees for the project. Okay, so upcoming, and there's a few slides on this one. replacing, renovating, it's actually replacing the new playground and ADA path of travel at Recreation Park. The estimated cost on this is about $120,000. That does not include the path of travel, which is the next one coming up. So the location for that, you can see on that oval up there, it's at the north end of Recreation Park. That photo on the right shows a slide that's closed. That playground is so old, we can't get parts for it anymore. And like they have to manufacture them and they're crazy expensive. So it's needed to be replaced for a while now. So we're finally getting to it. And we had a good meeting on this that Councilwoman Davis attended, and we talked about some things. This will be a playground for kids ages 1 to 5. So it's for the younger kids, but some good ideas come out of that. Like we do now with, this will be our 4th or 5th playground in a row. What we like to do is we give the playground manufacturers a budget. We say you got $100,000 to spend on a playground, design your best playground for $100,000. And then we put it out to the people for a vote. We put it online, we threw Facebook, we put signs up at the playground, let people vote on us and tell us what they want in their playground. And so we get, I think this last one, we had like around 350 votes. So I mean, not thousands, but we at least were getting some idea of what people want in a playground.
Wait, are you saying that they voted to have a K through 5? I mean,
No, because we already have the south end of Rec Park has a 5 through 12 playground.
that's 5 through 12.
Yeah, the south end.
I guess my question is, and then you have kind of an adult area.
At the south end.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah. Is there ever going to be any expansion on that?
We don't have anything planned at this point. We don't see a ton of use on there. There's some.
I see a ton of.
Do you? That's good.
I do. And,
Okay.
and I've been to different cities that have, very extensive exercise
More
areas.
elaborate,
that
yeah.
Both high school and adults use that I think
Yeah.
would be kind of cool.
Well, that's good you're seeing. I mean, I don't, not that I don't see people there, but it's, I don't know. Frankly, I've been a little disappointed after we put it in. I thought I'd see a lot more people there, but
Yeah.
maybe I had too high of
It's usually
expectations.
mornings when it's not hot.
Yeah,
But
right,
anyway.
right. Okay, so this is about the path of travel, and the yellow, the kind of the squiggly yellow that wraps around the building, that's the existing ADA path of travel. That's ADA compliant from an ADA parking spot that takes you around the building and to the pool. The dashed yellow line will be a new ADA extension that'll lead to the playground. And the little dashed kind of white line at the top will be a path that that will not be ADA compliant, but will connect to the existing pathway. Parents can push their strollers up the hill to get to it, because that's all up on a hill. It doesn't show, but that's all on a hill. So the question we've been asked is, why don't you just do one pathway? Why do you have to do it both? Because if we wanted to do an ADA compliant pathway from the existing pathway, it'd be really long, switchbacky, have handrails, and be very expensive. That's why we chose that.
Will you be doing any ADA accessible swings or anything like that in the actual park itself? Because I know
Yeah.
that there aren't any at the 5 through 12 area.
Yeah, no, there'll be, and we put some in like at one of the newer ones at Regional Park has a couple of those. So
Mhm.
yeah.
Okay, great.
Okay, next project. This is adding an emergency exit at Rec Park. So that's a picture of the area, and I think I've got a picture on here next that shows where it's at. Honestly, we don't know we've got 40,000 pegged for this, because it's gonna require some expansion, some opening up of the fence back there, some paving obviously, and some new pole gates. But this is, I think this slide shows it, yeah. We found out about this the hard way, actually twice in like 1 year, where we had accidents at the back of the park and people get trapped in there because if fire and law enforcement are at the front, the people that parked in the back there by the picnic tables cannot get out. And then another good point was made by the Auburn Fire Department that this could also serve as an emergency exit in case there was people needed to flee from this neighborhood to the west of the park, because there's really only one way out. My understanding is Recreation or Racetrack Street.
Mhm.
Yeah. So this would be
Is
a
it going to
second way
take
out.
any playground area?
No,
It's-
it will.
There's already
Yeah.
kind of a road there.
Yeah, so it's, let's see if I can go back. Yeah, so you can see, that's basically what it's gonna be, whereas, I don't have well, this thing has a pointer, does it? Oh, it does. Okay, so it'll be like opening right into there. That's where that kind of opening is to the banks, like right back here.
Yeah.
So we'll just expand all that out there and make this so you can get a car through. You can almost get a car through it now. Like I've seen like really tiny cars make it through.
Mhm.
Okay, one more. Okay, other projects of note that are not using city mitigation fees, but you guys might have interest in. We did just finish the Railhead parking lot repave and curb repair. If you're aware, that parking lot the curbing was a mess. It's been a mess for, I don't know, 15 or 20 years. So we did the curbing right this time. Okay, here's one everybody's been asking about. This is the inside of Recreation Park Gym right now. This is what it looks like because we had a roof failure. We did just get in the quote you see over there. The cost is $659,000. That's just to put the new trusses on. We've already spent $100,000 to put that shoring in, and I don't know, somewhere around another 20 to 50,000 on engineer fees and structural calcs. This is all covered by insurance. So what happened, you see in these pictures circled in the red, that's inside the attic right now. And you can see where everything's circled where those trusses have basically cracked and failed. So if you're ever at the outside, if you're on the outside of the gym looking back towards it, say if you're up there by James Field looking back towards the gym, you'll see a big dip in the roof. That's from that. So that's what we're replacing. And it's going to be steel trusses. So our goal is to have that project done by December 1st, which is when we start youth basketball. It's going to be pushing it because it's going to be pushing up against rain and hopefully not, but that's the race we're against. The trusses themselves, we're told, can take about 8 weeks to get manufactured.
I brought up before all of this happened that it would be nice if they had basketball hoops that adjusted because the youngest kids can't reach the hoop. Is there any possibility of getting the new basketball hoops and maybe a
Insurance won't pay
mitigation?
for anything new.
No, I'm saying, could we use mitigation fees? Because I mean, our citizens
Possibly.
use that. I mean, we use that gym, people in the Auburn community use that gym a lot, and
Yeah.
a lot of our youth use that basketball gym, and so do our adults. It would be nice if we had hoops that were.
We can look
more
at, I know they have the
grips.
kinds that hang on. And are you talking about ones that go up and down?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, those are
because
nice.
it's for I think it's first graders
Mhm.
trying to reach an adult
Yeah.
size hoop is very.
Yeah, we used to have years ago, I think we got rid of them at some point. They hung up on the existing hoops and they came down another 2 feet or something like that. They were all of a sudden 8-foot rims.
Just food for thought on
That's
something
okay.
that the community has expressed interest in, because my husband coaches basketball
Yeah.
for multiple teams for that league, and there's been a lot of frustration from parents that their kids just can't reach the hoop.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Sounds like you and I need to be on the committee next time. I want adult things.
it would be nice if we had nice hoop. The hoops are old. Even
Yeah,
whether
they
they're
are.
not.
This is over at Ashford Park. Let me just go one more slide to show you where that's at. So there's the park, the dog park's on the south end there. And that's where that issue is. And it's basically the levee that holds up the pond. And if you look right there, that whole part of the driveway is collapsing. So we have got to put in essentially like a wall there, a concrete wall, because what's happening is the water's seeping underneath. It's missing, there's a drain, but it's going underneath the drain and it's just eroding away that road right there, which we use. We've got a small garage down there and we use it for maintenance. So we've got to fix that. Yeah, not the most fun project, but it's what has to be done. Other projects to note, this has come up a few times. Yay, finally a new scoreboard at Beggs Field. That is pretty much what the scoreboard's going to look like. They're just working on some of the final engineering parts of it to make sure it fits on the existing post, or we might have to put in new posts. We've been working on that with Little League for a bit now, trying to get them, happy with what the features they wanted on the scoreboard. And then keep talking about this. And this is up in Regional Park, but this is Marriott Meadows. We're actually starting a small part of this project coming up in the next month or so, they're going to be putting in the fence line. Oops. Oh, pushed the wrong button. I'm sorry. They're putting in the fence line right along here. We're going to do that early because the existing fence that's up there is rotting, falling apart. So we're going to get that done early. We're hoping to get started on this project next year. We're just trying to finalize a few things on the drawings. We're going to have to end up phasing it in. We just don't have the money to pay for everything we want to do right now. Okay, upcoming events. This one we already talked about. Yay, Food Truck Fiesta on Friday. I should have put a kickball picture in there, and I don't know why I didn't. Shame on me. That's where the Mighty Kickball game happens. And I think we've got 12 food trucks, 11 or 12. One dropped out, one came in. We're somewhere around there. So yeah, it's fun. It's supposed to be not like crazy hot either. So I know you'll all be there because you got the kickball game. And Mike, you're batting, or you're kicking cleanup, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, see. Okay. September 13th, we have the Ain't Necessarily Dead Festival. If you haven't been, wonderful event as far as like, you'll see everything there. It's a lot of fun. It's all day. I've said it 100 times. It's great people watching. We have a good time with it. It's a long day, but it's free to attend. You just got to check it out. Even if you just come for an hour, come a little bit later in the day when we got a bigger crowd, and it's pretty fun. The obstacle race, September 28th. September's a big month for us. So that event is still going strong, and we'll get 350 to 400 racers every year, and just keeps kicking along. And the Harvest Fest, my favorite event in town, over at Rec Park, October 18th. And assuming everybody's been to that event, but it's if you haven't, you've missed out. It's really, seriously, Auburn's best event. And lastly, Santa's Chest. Bringing that, this is something that got started during the pandemic, and we're keeping it around. And it's been a wonderful event, a lot of fun, and really excited to bring that one back. And that helps us close out the year nicely too. So, and questions? That's at the bike park, by the way.
Any questions from council? Yeah, Councilman Holmes.
Well, just in the gym used to host the pickleball there as well.
Yep.
And there are some pickleball courts out at the regional park. That's correct. So are more people using that
Oh, yeah.
venue?
No, wait. So we have pickleball courts, and we have 4 outdoor courts at Meta Vista, 6 outdoor courts at Regional Park, the 3 here, 3 indoor at Regional, and 3 indoor at Rec. And I will still get comments about, do you know how long I had to wait to play pickleball today? So there's a big demand for it. Yeah.
But the rec isn't open right now, so you only have
Rec's not-
indoor.
You're right. So we've lost that.
Right.
So, yeah. And what happens, of course, in the winter when it starts raining, you're not playing outside. So everybody's jamming into the 6 indoor courts, and that just gets too much. And then we're also trying to balance that with basketball and volleyball, because we have a pretty decent adult volleyball program that runs. So it's a balancing act, trying to find time.
Great.
No comment.
Oh, you have a comment?
Yeah. I just want to say thank you. Thank you for considering the feedback for a young kids playground. I think it's valuable, and I'm up here to be a voice for the parents that are too tired and too busy with little ones to come to meetings, and how important it is to have a space for parents and grandparents and caregivers to gather that is safe, and you can actually sit down next to another parent and talk while your kid is playing. So thank you so much. I think it's so valuable to our community, and I hope it'll bring other people to Auburn, knowing that there's a safe and accessible area for people to gather. So thank you.
Yes.
I just wanted to add my thanks. My kids are constantly using something, whether it's basketball league or swimming lessons or going to the park. But one thing that normally doesn't get mentioned in summaries, but is a really critical part of our community, is Discovery Club. having that childcare for people who are working after school and during summers and providing that opportunity for those kids to have a place to play and do fun things during summer is critical to our family being able to function. So I really appreciate that. People don't normally think about that, but it's a big part of
It's
what helps
huge.
us be able to function as a community. That childcare is very important. So
It
thank you.
is, thank you. It is a very big program. It's our biggest program as far as revenue that comes in. So we had this summer, we had 3 sites. We ran a site at Rack Regional and at Skyridge. Yeah.
Yep,
Great.
thank you for that.
Okay, anyone else from the public? Any other question? Okay, thank you
Thank you.
so much. Appreciate it. When will it be done, the project? I'm sorry, with the mitigation fee at the children's playground? Okay, okay. Right. That makes sense. Thank you. Okay, so we have on to adoption of the short-range transit plan for Auburn Transit.
Good evening again, Madam Mayor, and council members. Mental Dean, your Public Works Director. Well, I'll wait for Amy to pull up the slides. Thank you. While that's happening, I'll kind of give you a brief background where we're at. The Western Placer Short Range Transit Plan, or commonly known as the SRTP, outlines a 5-year strategy for all the transit agencies. This particular year was the first year that Auburn Transit kind of coordinated efforts with the other transit agencies and did a combined short-range transit plan. We found it to be extremely beneficial in doing so because the transit agencies have been moving to a more uniform look. So we want all transit agencies to not necessarily have the same look, but have the same feel. And a passenger riding between Roseville Transit, Placer County Transit, or Auburn Transit should not feel like it's disjointed. It should work as one continuous homogeneous unit. And that's what this effort was really all about. So I'll say this, and this one was pretty easy for Auburn Transit because we did the comprehensive operational analysis and we brought that information to council. I think it was back in October of 2024. And through the comprehensive operational analysis, there was some recommendation that came out of that. And we could have waited until the short range transit plan to implement those recommendations, but we went ahead and did it because Auburn Transit moved to one of the key recommendations that came out of that effort was Auburn Transit mimic Placer County Transit's hours, extend to 7 p.m. so that when a person gets off of Placer County Transit and they go to the multimodal station, they're not left stranded because we're done 1 hour later. We could have waited until this point to implement that, but through council's direction and efforts at that time, we implemented that change. And that's one of 2 major changes that came out of this short range transit plan. So we were able to do so. The other recommendation, which we have not done yet, admittedly, but it's something that we're certainly looking at. One of the key recommendations that came out said that we needed to expand our service area into the Bowman area. And in looking at what the city's trying to accomplish and some of our ridership, staff is willing to support that. We think that recommendation fits. Oh, going the wrong way. There we go. We think that fits what our current ridership is. In a future slide, you'll see there's some hotspots. While Auburn is downtown Auburn and Old Town Auburn is the primary location where our ridership actually utilizes Auburn on demand, you'll see that there's still a large portion. Let's go to this one here. You'll see the pickup and drop off location heat maps. You'll see, yeah, a lot of it is that centralized in the business districts in Auburn, but as you can see from the map, the Bowman area along Luther Road and by the bowling alley is still a very hot spot. And you can see that the drop off and the pickup kind of mimic each other, which makes sense. Like when folks are going certain places, they need to get back home, and Auburn On Demand has allowed us to do that. And similarly with the Target area out on Bell Road, where all the food places and things like that are, and the hospital, that's where a lot of our ridership goes. And so we're already serving that area. So there's no change that necessarily needs to happen in that area, but the Bowman area, we'd certainly need to expand into, and we're looking into how to make that work operationally. With that being said, one of the other recommendation was to move to 7 p.m. That's already done. Auburn Transit is required to make a 10% return on every dollar spent, and we have been doing an amazing job in doing that. Since we've moved to 100% on-demand transit, we have seen our fare recovery ratio raised to about 30%, which is something that we've never been at before. We've always struggled to get that to that 10% mark. I will say before we started on-demand, previous years, we were at about 7%, 9%, barely making it, but this operational model has certainly worked. And this is through the direction of the council to go to a complete on-demand service, and it's serving us better. We're not having empty buses traverse the city. We're seeing more ridership, and it's being used for more recreational. So we're starting to look at some of those other things that we could potentially do. Like programs that we have discontinued in the past are starting to be looked at again for if they can be functional. I know Madam Mayor is going to bring up the Confluence, and it is one of the ones that we're certainly looking at how we could make that work. I'm not saying right now there's a direct path to it, but we're trying to see if the ridership exists, and if we can create momentum for it, we're certainly looking at, and that's the beauty about being 100% on demand. We have given ourselves the ability to analyze our system in an instant, so we can make those operational changes and not have to wait for a 5-year period once these sorts of programs come out. So for reference, I'll give you on this slide, you can see here's our operational cost per hour. So previous to Auburn On Demand, we were doing it about $110 to $125 an hour. It cost us every time we started the bus and we drove around for an hour. Now we've reduced that cost to $70.71, which is the lowest in the region. And we think that that's really tremendous considering where we were before and where we think we can go. We can leverage some of these monies to actually expand on our transit system. So with that being said, like I said, all the recommendations that came out here are all things that we've already implemented. I think we're doing a great job, and it's through the efforts of the council and we're eliminating the traditional transit service and actually looking at this thing from a holistic viewpoint. So with that, I'll open it up for questions.
I have a quick question. So it seems a lot of the destinations, I mean, the key destinations is Thunder Valley, Sierra College, and hospitals. Is that because of employment?
Yeah, so I'll say with the Thunder Valley and Sierra College, that is more directed towards Placer County and Roseville Transit, just because they were part of this operational analysis. When we looked at it, we looked at what we can do. Keeping in mind that we do about 1 mile outside of city limits currently, with some exceptions. There's some variations where we go a little further, but we're looking to expand on that. So
Okay. Because if someone's working from Auburn down to like Roseville, how would they do that?
yeah, there's several ways you can actually do that. So we're currently working with Placer County for them to bring a bus into Auburn. We have to be very careful about that, I want to say, because we don't want to cannibalize the system that we've already created for ourselves. So we're going to pick very strategic locations where they can bring a bus and serve as a transfer point between Auburn On Demand to Placer County Transit to get them to Roseville. So those are the types of things that we're currently analyzing.
Okay, good. Okay. I just had a couple comments later, but go ahead. Yes.
Thank you for this. We're always interested in what's going on with transit. I love the turnaround that's happened over the last few years. It's a very different totally different environment than when I got on council. So this is great. So though I definitely think there's a lot of demand in the areas up 49 and over to Bowman, those are in Placer County. Are they going to be subsidizing since they're not going to be serving their own service territory, and they would want, and we would be filling that gap? Because a lot of the places that those folks are going is not necessarily in Auburn. They're going from like Bowman to the hospital, which are not necessarily, either location is not in our city.
Yeah, so that's a great point. And so one of the things that we've done is we've made it so that there's no county to county ridership. So if you're somewhere in Placer County and you're looking to go to someplace else in Placer County, you can't do that. You must either start or end within the city of Auburn limits, so that way we're serving our residents.
So does Placer County have on-demand Placer to, like if somebody from Bowman, because if we're going to serve Bowman, we need to serve Bowman. Someone needs to serve Bowman.
Correct.
And if Bowman needs to get to, if someone in Bowman needs to get to Rayleigh's to go grocery shopping or needs to get to the hospital, who is serving that need?
Well, Placer County Transit is going to have to,
Do they have an on-demand service that does that?
similar to ours, but not identical to what we're currently doing. Placer County is still running fixed route services, so there's a way for that passenger to do it. Not 100% on demand like they would if they were on Auburn Transit, but there is certainly a path for them to do so.
Doesn't Placer County serve those who are going from Bowman into Auburn then?
Yes, and they adopted a similar model to the city of Auburn's, where you can start in the county and end in the city, but you can't go city to city on Placer County Transit. Just like we can't go county to county.
So if somebody is going from Bowman to Auburn, then they're served by two different agencies,
Not currently.
but they will be.
Uh,
Why are we
there's-
overlap like that?
There's a potential for that to happen, and that's kind of goes back to what I was originally saying. We're making sure that any area that Placer County is going to serve within the city does not cannibalize our current system. So we're working with them. There is no finalized plan as to what that's going to look like, but through analysis and seeing where passengers want to go, that's when we're going to make the determination of where those key stops should be.
Okay. I get where you're trying to go with it, but if we're serving people that go from Bowman to Auburn and Auburn to Bowman and so are they, then that creates an overlap. So trying to figure out to make that so that we're not duplicating or serving what Placer County should be serving is going to be a little bit more
Right.
nuanced.
Yeah, it is going to be very nuanced, right? And we want to be extremely careful about how we approach that, because to your point, if Placer County is going to be running a large route within city limits, in the past, they have expectations that there were going to be some reimbursement. They already are aware that that's not something that we're entertaining right now, because our on-demand system is designed to serve our residents and those of their residents that are looking to come into the city. So we're not.
And before they did on demand, we were serving a lot of their residents that were going to the hospital and other places that weren't necessarily going from anywhere in the city, just because they were slightly outside of our service territory. So just trying to make sure that those folks don't get their needs met, but also that we get the taxes that don't come to us for transit
Absolutely.
in the right
Absolutely.
place. Okay. I also had one more. Do you have any numbers for pickups and drop-offs for schools? What percentage of our ridership or how much of our ridership? Because I always see that by 10 kids getting on and getting off the bus in the morning at Sky Ridge, and because we're taking up the slack that the school district dropped when they dropped their buses.
I don't have specific numbers on hand right now. I can certainly get that to the council, but I'll tell you that it's a large number, and we know that it's coming, because when school is about to go back in, district orders a tremendous amount of passes from us,
Okay.
and then they hand them out.
Are
to
they
the
be
district.
charged?
What?
Do we charge them?
100%.
Okay.
100%. So we are reimbursed for whatever rides that we're doing. So we don't mind doing it. The biggest challenge is the burden that it puts on the system because of the large amount of children that try to ride the bus at the same time. We are not a school bus service, as you guys all know, but we do try to accommodate where we can. But there is a large portion of Auburn's residents that don't have any other way to get to those schools. And we're happy to provide those services in those circumstances. But what we won't do is provide field trips and those sorts of things, if that makes
Maybe the
sense.
school district can help us out financially too.
I've-
'Cause
I've-
They
I've-
dropped their
I've approached them on that, on if they're willing to look at some sort of partnership, but they haven't indicated that
Okay.
for budgetary reasons.
They are starting to bring back some buses over on the north side of town.
Oh,
In North Auburn, they're going to have two routes that go, I guess, from the area in the Auburn Greens to Auburnell
Oh.
this year. So there might be some strategic bus routes that come back.
That's
from-
good.
And that would be great because
So that would
is our
help us
most,
to offset a little bit.
yeah, that's certainly our most challenged areas in the morning, because there's a large amount of children that reside in the Greens that go to Placer High and other schools within city limits, and we have to transport them. And we found creative ways to do it, but if we could reduce that, that would be.
I thought the high school still did have buses. They don't have buses either?
I don't know if they do or they don't. All I
They-
know is that we carry
Oh,
a
I
lot of
thought- yeah,
Placer
the
High.
high school has buses. Okay. That's all I had. Thank you very much for your presentation.
Councilman Holmes, did you have a question or any comments? Okay. Anyone from the public? Okay, we need a motion here?
Oh, I'll move
Yeah, by resolution.
by resolution, to adopt the short-range transit plan.
I'll second.
Roll call, Councilmember Riddell Harris.
Aye.
Davis.
Aye.
Holmes.
Right.
Mayor Amar.
Yes, thank you. That passes. Services agreement for 85 Lincoln Way. Is that our city manager or no? Jonathan.
Jonathan.
My mistake. He's coming up.
He's coming.
Yes, good evening, Mayor. Good evening, council members. Jonathan Wright, Economic Development Director. And first off, forgive me. I gave you no visual representation of what we're talking about tonight. And so for the record, I'd like to pass out hard copies of a parcel map that has the parcel shapes and aerial overlaid.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. So what we're talking about here is a property called 85 Lincoln Way. I go back with this property probably almost 4 years now. It was one of the initial discussions that we had with the applicant was probably 2 city managers ago. We met with LAFCO and said, you know, they're interested in annexing. We're interested in having them. They're 7 acres. They represent developable land that we can use to fulfill housing needs within the community. That kind of started us down this road of, well, the general plan is out of date and you need to get your documentation up to speed before we can start getting down this path. So you fast forward, we were getting near the end of the general plan update, and the applicant has approached us about extending sewer service to the property, and which would allow him to develop a single-family dwelling. I did include both properties in this, and because if he's making the investment and actually putting in the sewer service, it makes sense to allow him to do both those APNs for future development purposes, so he's not going back and tearing up roads and so forth. This property is located adjacent to our city limits. It's within our sphere of influence. And as noted in the staff report, sewer service is directly at the top in Lincoln Way within a matter of give or take 100 feet or so. I would like to note that not only are we asking tonight for a resolution authorizing the city manager to execute and extend service agreement to provide sewer service to 85 Lincoln Way, we are also asking that you direct staff to initiate a change of service, or excuse me, a change of organization application, which means that we would actually start working on the annexation concurrently. If you look at the agreement, it discusses the fact that we are going to be working towards annexation as soon as the general plan is up. I do want to note for the record that there was a statement in the staff report on the very last part of the last paragraph of the background that says concurrently with the execution, staff, well, it still says staff recommends initiating a change organization, but that has to come back to this body. So I was just putting that in there to acknowledge the fact that this is what we're going to be going forward with and that you have our blessing to continue with this process. But we are not at this very moment initiating a change in organization, simply to for the resolution for the service agreement. This is authorized by government code that we may issue these types of agreements outside of our city limits within our sphere of influence. It is subject to LAFCO approval, so we have to get their board to buy off on it. The next steps will be after the resolution is hopefully approved this evening. We then make application to them. They're the ones that actually formally initiate the process to allow us to go forward. Once that's executed, they will work directly with Public Works on that sewer connection. We've already been in contact with the county, both the county building official, about us possibly taking over the process for the building permit, since conceivably there might be a change in oversight in the middle of this, in the middle of the construction process for the dwelling. And at the same time, we're talking to their annexation liaison about, of course, the tax agreement. So if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. And the applicant's here too, in case you have any other specifics from.
Any questions from council? Councilwoman Riddell Harris?
if for some reason the annexation didn't go through and we had our sewer line in there, how would that work?
Want to go for it?
You can go first. if you'd like.
Okay,
Go ahead.
we were authorized to extend sewer lines outside of the city limits, so it's an authorized connection. We put in the agreement that we shall work towards annexation, so the ultimate goal will be to annex the property. It might just be delayed for a while.
Yeah, I'd add it. If you approve this agreement and LAFCO also approves it, you'll provide the service and it will remain outside of city boundaries until an annexation occurs. If annexation never occurs, you'll just continue to provide service to the property
Okay.
under this agreement. When annexation does occur, if it occurs, this agreement automatically expires and goes away because it'll be in city limits at that point.
Okay, and then all of the rate changes, all the rates apply for and if we have rate changes and all that kind of stuff would still apply as things
Yes,
move
yep.
forward.
Yep, because they're providing,
you.
yes, they're receiving service from the city, so yep.
Just wanted to check that. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Anyone from the public? I don't. Thank you for working on this and getting this going. So by resolution, I suggest we authorize the city manager to execute an extended services agreement to provide the Auburn City Sewer Service to 85 Lincoln Way and direct staff to initiate a change of organization application to the Placer County LAFCO for annexation of the subject property once the general plan update is complete.
I'll second.
Roll call, Councilmember Riddell Harris.
Aye.
Davis.
Aye.
Holmes. Mayor Amara.
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. On to the city manager report.
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Ooh.
That fancy, loud microphone. Good news. So just a couple things. Again, the report's on the dais and then in the back of the room for folks. I'm not going to read all of it because it's pretty long again. The Station 8 Post Office is going to be reopening as a museum and visitor center. So the old post office in Old Town, Placer County Historical Association is looking to reopen that. They've actually entered into a lease agreement with the property owner to reopen it as a museum and a visitor center. So I believe that the agreement is set to be finalized in October, and then they'll have to do some cleanup. One of the big things for the city is the Historical Society asked if the city would be able to help offset the cost of the lease. And so I pledged a $1,000 donation for that lease for the length of the term of the lease, which is a 2-year lease. So $2,400 going towards the lease to help offset those costs. Next up, fireworks. So the fireworks final counting is in. The city received a total of 19,000 in donations.
I'm sorry, wait, one quick question.
Yes,
Did you say 1,000? Your report says 2,400.
2,400 total for the 2 years. So it'll be a one-time donation of $2,400, which equals $100 per month for
Got it. Okay, thank you. Sorry about that.
not $1,000 per month. No way. Fireworks final accounting, we received 19,000 in donations for the fireworks event with a anticipated cost of 22,500. So the city only put in 3,500 as opposed to the authorized 9,000. And so we are now working to figure out what nonprofit is going to take that over. So I'll be starting on that here quickly. Pancakes with a Purpose is coming up on August 16th from 7 to 10 a.m. in the parking lot here at City Hall. That's the sponsored by the Auburn Jeep Clubs, and the donations for that go towards the Placer County Law Enforcement Chaplaincy and the Police Officers Association. So that starts at 7 o'clock in the morning, runs till 10 o'clock. You get, for $10, you get 2 pancakes, 2 eggs, 2 sausages, and coffee, which is a pretty good deal. And then finally, I'm sure you all have seen that the side entrance to City Hall is blocked off because the driveway collapse is in the process of slowly collapsing. And so our Public Works Director is working now to figure out how to shore that up. We released bids for that. We received 1 bid. The design is currently being developed to retain the existing footprint of the retaining wall to get that opened back up as quickly as possible. So we'll get that as quickly as we can. And then also on the public works side, the notice of proceed has been issued and accepted by both the roofing contractor and the electrical contractor for the solar project on the police department. So that should be starting by the end of the month. That's all they got. I can answer questions if you have any questions.
Thank you very much. So moving on to future agenda items, discussion and identification of topics that require attention in upcoming meetings. This section allows council members to propose new ideas, unresolved issues, or projects that need further planning or discussion. Do we have any input here? Just council members? Okay, so moving on to city council committee reports. Councilman Riddell Harris.
Went to the Placer County Economic Development meeting. We added some new board members at large and also representing a couple of different industries, talked about lots of different events going on and new businesses coming into Placer County. Just generally kind of getting organized for the year. We have another meeting coming up in fall. Normally that one takes place in Lake Tahoe. And then what else? This week we have the this week is the Air Pollution Control District's meeting. So I have that one coming up, but that's about it.
Thank you.
As liaison to ARD, I think our update was sufficient from Kale.
Thank you. Councilman Holmes, any updates? No updates. So I attended the solid waste task force, and that was, again, I'm a newbie there, so I was just listening in. They talked about the cardboard bin program, the Eat Well. They think they came and discussed that. It's a mobile app, and they're trying to get that up and going, and it's an app which involves restaurants, and it cuts out the middle person so that if there is a restaurant that has extra pizza, there's an app and they connect them with individuals who need some food and they can go pick it up. So it's a pretty interesting program that they're trying to get underway. Right now, they still need, I forget what they call them, but they need restaurants and places that will be willing to engage. They have plenty of people that would on the other end. Then there's the Murph construction in, let's see, Truckee. They talked about, I didn't know this, there's a mattress pickup that Recology engages in. And also, what else? Composting, talked about organics, the landfill. Their modular 6 is underway. They started working on that. And blue bags, they said, really don't make that much difference. Having blue bags, they said, because of the new MRF, we don't need to separate at all. So that's good news. And that was the solid waste task force. There's sustainability had a meeting that was pretty brief. And then what else? Oh, this is interesting. I got a letter from Placer County Administrative Center, and they've basically want to notify us that the Domes was placed on the National Register of Historic Places. Important part of this is that this provides a degree of protection from adverse effects resulting in federally funded or licensed projects. There's also no restrictions placed on private property owner regarding normal use, maintenance, or sale of the property. However, a project that may cause substantial adverse changes in the significance of a registered property may require compliance with local ordinance and the California Environmental Quality Act. So that's what's going on with the Domes, and that's what we have to adhere to. So that's all I have, and that's it for council. So with that, I will adjourn the meeting. Thank you.